I guess. See if we can get everything moved around here just a little bit. Until about 20 minutes ago, I was still living in the past with the time zone change, so forgive me on that one. Let's see if we can get anybody in. I'm not sure if anybody's going to show up for this one. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, but I'm making Colcannon anyway, so that's what we're doing. See who all's got their notifications on. I'm just getting my comment section set up here. Because we should definitely be live. And make sure that everything's all set up. Hey, we got somebody in there. You Beaumont resident. Hey buddy, how are you? Good to see you. I can hear you. Good. Okay. I love it when you guys do that. When you tell me straight up. That always drives me nuts. When people go, "Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?" Well, I hope you can hear me. But today, which I don't know if you caught that to begin with, but I was living in the past. I was living by clock. Not all my clocks are digital or satellite. And I was in the car a little bit ago, and I was kind of going by my car clock, which is, it's not a satellite clock. So I've been about an hour behind. So anyway, we are about to cook. Today we are going to do, I'm going to finish up the steak that I did the other day in my Stargazer right over here. Do that in the Stargazer. And at the same time though, I'm going to do an Irish dish today, which is basically dressed up mashed potatoes, but it's one of my favorite things to have, especially this time of the year, called Colcannon. Now, there's a million recipes for Colcannon, but it's a super simple thing. It doesn't take long, and I say that every week. Hey, Patsy, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, we'll be doing some Colcannon today. We're gonna fry a steak. We're gonna have some really good potatoes. We're gonna have some really good steak that I've got drying out. It's been drying out about a half hour behind me, sort of behind the scenes. Now, I will warn people, if you are on a low-calorie diet or anything like that, this is not for you. This is has a lot of butter, like a lot of Irish cuisine. It's basically founded in butter. So, my Irish Colcannon back. Best to have mashed potatoes. Yes. Yeah, it's a great way to have mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes to me is like a new thing. I've always bought the pre-done or did the instant ones, but this past year I have been making my own mashed potatoes. So this is a new one for me, is making mashed potatoes, or making Colcannon with actual making my potatoes as well. But we're gonna do it the same way I always do it. And one of the things you can use bacon in this. You can use deli ham. Today I'm going to be using, if I can put it up there to the camera, I'm going to be doing Canadian bacon. Canadian bacon is what I like to do. So, hey Rusty, what's up? I just saw you a little bit ago. But yeah, we're going to do Canadian bacon, because I like the flavor of Canadian bacon as opposed to regular bacon. So, I'm a buddy Ed. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Let's see. Hi, buddy. Mithra Ra. All right. So I've got my stuff ready to go, for the most part. I'm going to glove it up. And we're going to do the potatoes. I've already got the skillet heating up. I've got another skillet in the oven. I've got my Stargazer out. I've got a Pick What Favorite Best to Cook In. Old Faithful is in the oven, warming up, because that's what we're going to put our potatoes in. Then we're not going to bake it or anything. A lot of people just serve the Colcannon right out of the pot, But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a layer of cheese to the top. I like a little cheese on mine. That's optional. Another way you can do it is you can bake, kind of twice bake your potato and put a lot of butter on the top of it. That's another great way. But today we're going to do it with the cheese. So that's where we're at. All right, there we go. Got my coffee going, and I'm going to glove it up and get started. And we'll do, let's see, what time we got already. So I'm about 8 minutes into starting, and this shouldn't take a whole heck of a lot of time. But we're going to start out, we're just going to use, I've got this front burner with my Descoware. You can see that over here. I've got the Descoware, and I've already got about a half a stick of butter. I got about 4 tablespoons of butter in there. And that's what we're going to do to sort of make our Colcannon sauce. It does have, it's sort of a sauce that goes in it. It's not like a roux with flour or anything like that. We're just, instead of just adding a splash of milk and butter into our mashed potatoes, we're going to let these green onions and the cabbage sort of infuse into just the green onions. We're going to let the green onions infuse into that butter and milk. So we'll just, and the nice thing about this is that it's a rough chop. It's not anything has to be diced amazingly. Because Irish cuisine, a lot of what came over to America was from a time when Ireland was very, very poor. You know, potato famine and all these things, and settlers and whatnot. So it wasn't a time of cuisine. And actually, if you go back and you look at recipes for Colcannon, you won't find them in it. You won't find Colcannon in a lot of these recipes in Irish cookbooks, because in those days there weren't Irish cookbooks, to be honest with you. That wasn't a big priority for those folks in those days. So a lot of these things, even corned beef and cabbage, I mean, most people know that corned beef and cabbage is pretty much, corned beef is, you know, Jewish, German, that kind of thing. So we're going to throw our onions in there. Set that over there. I'm going to toss these off to the side and put those in there. And we're going to let that go into there. Now I've also got a little bit of garlic and dehydrated chive, because this time of year I like my own garden chives, and that's what I have most often is my garden chives. So we'll just move that over that way a little bit so we can see into there. And I'm gonna take just about a regular like kitchen teaspoon of garlic and chive and throw in there. Not much, just a little bit. I'm gonna save the rest of that for the steak. So we have that. We're gonna throw a little bit of pepper in there. Now this is, there's gonna be a lot of salt in the Canadian bacon. So I'm not gonna salt a lot other than my steak is already pre-seasoned. So we've got that in there, and then I'm gonna take about 1/3 of a cup of regular milk. And that's all we're going to need of that. Let me put that off to the side. And we're just going to let that sort of marinate in there. We're just going to let that marinate. So that's pretty much, we all see that okay. There we go, just a little closer, I guess. And I'm just going to mix that up. Where's my little whisk? There we go. We'll just whisk that together. Doesn't have to be perfect. But we're just going to let that onion and that garlic and the chive sort of go in and marinate in there for a minute. While I'm doing that, in the meantime, I'm gonna come over here to this part. As you can see, the dog's puzzle on the floor. And I'm going to take off my lid, which has about a half of a Dutch oven full of boiling water. And I'm gonna throw, there's about 4 or 5 potatoes here, quartered up, quartered in half, sort of rough. And I'm gonna let those get in there and do their magic. I did drop a little bit of olive oil in there, but we're just gonna have these fork tender. That's all we're gonna do with these. Just like regular old mashed potatoes. These will take about 10 to 15 minutes, I would imagine. Throw that in there. Let me throw this away. Yes, handsome stone. It did go through. I sent you back an email that says it did, but that maybe it didn't go through on my end. I'm gonna toss a little bit of salt in here so I can have that salty flavor. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw the top back on that. I'm gonna throw the timer on it so I don't really forget about it on those potatoes. And we're gonna go 12 minutes on those. Because these are pretty small. They were small potatoes to begin with, actually. So we're just gonna roll over here. And then we're gonna put the lid back on our milk over here, our milk mixture, milk and butter and green onion. And we're gonna pop back down this way. And yeah, check your spam. My Yahoo account is very new to me. So if I didn't do something right to it, there's a good possibility in that. And we're even using green towels today. How fun is that? So, there we go. All right. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get, I've got a half of a head of cabbage. I didn't peel off this was really fresh cabbage. I was really happy with that. So I didn't have to peel any of the outer layers. So we're just gonna rough chop that up. One of these days I'm gonna be cool and get a bigger chef's knife. Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to bounce that around. Set this off to the side too. There we go. This doesn't have to be, diced amazingly. This is a peasant dish. It's sort of a, sort of Tuscan in a way. Could have used my longer cutting board. I have about a gazillion cutting boards, but I know people like this one, so I tend to use it a little more. I'm gonna just turn this to the side. And the idea behind this is just to blanch it up. So I'm just gonna throw it in like right before the potatoes are done and sort of blanch it down. And then throw it in a separate container in a bowl. And then I will mash that. And then I'm gonna put it in another pan and I'm gonna put it in Old Faithful there, hoping that Old Faithful is big enough. And I'm actually gonna heat up a 10 while I'm thinking about it. We're gonna heat up a 10, just in case the 8's not big enough. All right, let me grab a 10 here. We'll put the 10 in there just for good measure, just in case we need it, which we might. Okay, then we'll take the ones that are already done. And then we'll kind of cut some of the other pieces smaller once we have more room. There we go. As you can tell, I'm really big on no cross-contamination. All right. I'll cut some of these bigger pieces down. We don't want them that big. Oh, St. Patrick's Day season. I am having a heck of a time finding pickling salt right now. Pickling salt in my area is not a thing. And I was at another butcher shop this morning, and I was picking up molasses, and I was kind of letting them have it that all these butcher shops around here don't have pickling salt or curing salt. And I keep saying pickling salt. I mean curing salt. So throw that in here. There we go. Believe it or not, this is going to come together and be actually not too bad. Not too bad at all. But I do think it was a smart idea to use the 10. Put the 10 off to the side. The 10 in there. So there we go. All right. All right. Potatoes going. Like I said, we need those to be fork tender. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to kick back over to the Stargazer. And one of the things I like to do when I do the bacon or whatever I put into the Colcannon is I like to throw a couple of the potato peels in there as well. Are you able to use kosher salt, or is it different? Yeah, kosher salt doesn't have nitrates in it. And if you need the nitrates to make the corned beef, or you can't leave it sit like the length of time. Like I wanted to go, my ideal thing was to do my corned beef on Monday of this week. So I started looking for curing salt last Thursday, which I haven't had any luck, but you have to have the nitrates in the, you have to have a nitrate in the salt, or you can't leave the beef in the refrigerator that long. You can use celery salt, I think is one that has nitrates in it, but it's not that, you get a really big, I'm afraid I would get a really big salt taste that I don't want. So I didn't want to go with that. A little olive oil in there. Now this isn't going to take long, and I'm going to I'll throw the potatoes in there and get those little skins. I like the little skins in there. It gives the casserole just a little bit of let it kind of like, sometimes people will turn Colcannon into almost like a casserole, and they'll put potato chips on top of it, or Ritz crackers, or any kind of a cracker, saltine. I've even seen somebody use a layer of, what do you call them, oyster crackers. So I'll just give this a minute in there. 5 minutes on that. These stir it nice. Get that separated out. Which one do I want? I want this one. Sunday afternoon cook, man. I'm glad folks could show up. Cast Iron Chaos, I think, is doing his corned beef tonight. He'll be putting his in, getting it brined up, which is the recommended way to do it. Yeah, they do have pink. They have pink salt on Amazon. I did see that. I was just hoping I could get it locally. That way I could get it in there this afternoon, after I did this. This was my plan, was to have pickling, or the curing salt by today. Yeah, and the Himalayan salt doesn't work. That doesn't work either, because it doesn't have any nitrates in it. Gotta have them good old-fashioned preservatives, the yummy preservatives in there. We'll get this in there. Like I said, I like the Canadian bacon in there. It's a lot less fatty. And there's plenty of nitrates in here, I can guarantee you that. But we're just gonna brown this up. We're not gonna do a whole heck of a lot to it. We're gonna brown it up and put it back off to the side, because we're gonna throw that into the Colcannon as well. And then while that Colcannon is in there melting that cheese, we'll throw the steak on. And we do it all in the same pan. Move this over there. Throw some bits. I don't want to get it, I don't want them to be too crispy. Just a little brown would be nice. There we go. Cooking with Stephen and Jacqueline. Jacqueline, how are you? Scotty, good to see you. Saw you guys this morning at Smoking Bears, doing the review of the same pan I have here, the Stargazer. Now mine's a little bit older. Mine's a 20 or a 19, and theirs, I think they said theirs was a 20 this past year, 24. But still a great pan, and you love the feature on the side. There we go. We'll put that a little bit over there for you. And we'll give this a stir. That going. And I don't want to boil it. I just want it to kind of be in there. And I'm actually going to throw some cold water in that right before I do it so it doesn't separate. When I was a newbie at sausage making, the recipe calls for pink salt. I bought Himalayan and didn't realize the error before I made the sausage. Yeah, that's kind of a thing you can do. And I've always done bagged corned beef. I'm not gonna lie. I've always done bagged corned beef, but I thought it'd be fun this year to do my Reubens. I'm not using a brisket to do the corned beef that I'm doing. I'm actually using a rye, a round roast to do that this year. So, because it's not, brisket's preferred, but I wanted to do, for my Reuben sandwiches, I wanted to do a corned beef with an eye around, because it's not, you don't have to use a brisket, it's preferred, and it does come out fairly well, but brined up enough and boiled long enough, it's going to fall apart, and it's going to be, it'll turn out. I've used round for a lot of things. Loose meat sandwiches, things like that. I really like, and I like a round, but it has to be really cooked. You either have to do it, for me, I find it rare, round roast, if you're going to slice it, you got to do it real rare for sandwiches, if you're just going to use that, or you got to cook it, you got to boil it a long time, which I thought would be good for Reuben sandwiches. Let me see. Let me get a fork test on this. I should have a fork around here, right here. Check the tenderness on the potatoes. They could use a little longer. They could use just a little bit longer. Are there two types of pink salt? Yes. Yeah. The difference that I know, Patsy, is the nitrate level. That's the only thing I know that's different about it. Yeah, rare and sliced thin. That's what you got to do. Almost like a weck. I think you could probably get away with round on a weck, but I don't know. I've never made weck, but I would think that's about the way you go. I've done a lot of, I've done several loose meat sandwiches with the eye around, and put it in like an au jus and let it kind of marinate in the au jus hot. for, you know, however long till it's tender. So I don't know, maybe that's the same thing as a Weck sandwich. Weck isn't very popular here. Weck to me just looks like Arby's. To be really honest, it kind of looks like Arby's anyway. But when I do the cabbage is only going to be in there like a couple minutes. So I'm just about ready to throw the cabbage in there anyway, because that's about where I'm at with the potatoes. Because I want the cabbage soft. That's a definite. This is looking pretty good. I was going to use a metal spatula in here, but I know some people get a little weird about about metal spatulas in these. They don't like the sound of it. They do not like the sound. So I can respect that. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I just want to get some of those other ones just a little browner. Does anybody out there, anybody else do a homemade corned beef? Because I'm taking suggestions today. But my corned beef, when I make it, I do have, like I said, I think I said this, I have a bagged corned beef in there, and I have the eye around. And if I don't find curing salt if I can't get it within the next 48 hours or so, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to throw that round roast into the freezer and go with my bagged corned beef, which I have a big bagged corned beef. It's really big. And let's get a little on the hot side. Let's keep that going. Yeah, these are softening up nice. Can everybody see that? Okay. I do use the non-brine dry method. Oh, okay. And what do you put on that? For us corned beef laymen, Mudbrooker. Okay, those are done. Go ahead and start throwing these off to the side. And I'm going to throw my cabbage in. I'm going to do a little bigger spatula for a second. So this one is not cutting it. Let me see here. Make me a mod and I'll post the link to my video. If I knew how to make you a mod, I would make you a mod. I've never done that. And currently I'm in the middle of something. That might be something. Maybe you can email me and tell me how to do that. You have my email. Which that would be pretty cool. Okay, so we'll just set that off to the side because we're going to add that into the potatoes in just a second. There we go. Okay, that was a little easier. That was a little bit easier. All right, let me test these because I think this is going to be about where I want them to be. Yep, that's where I want those potatoes to be. Let's see. The one thing I've made with corned beef is to take the bagged corned beef, turn it into pastrami using a bunch of spices, a long dry brine, and an instant pot. Oh, okay. That sounds pretty cool. Seems to be, I'm missing out on the dry brine thing here. So we'll just throw our cabbage in. And we're gonna mash that all up together. And I'm also going to, we can see that over here. You see that over there? Plop that down in there. And then, as tradition, I'm going to dump a nice plop of butter in there with some pepper. So that kind of gets that. That, and we'll mix that around. Now this doesn't have to go in like a into a KitchenAid and be like put into a puree, or it just needs to be rough mashed to keep it on the authentic side, if there's any such thing as authentic. I don't think, I'm not big on the whole authentic thing. There you go. All right, so we've got that going. We're going to pop the lid back on it for about 4 minutes. Because we just want those blanched up. Then I'll catch up on the comment section and go from there. There we go. All right, and I'll give this another stir around. Add another stir. We can turn that down. We don't want that. We don't need that ripping hot. That's done. And this will be sort of like when you add milk and butter into your mashed potatoes. We are going to add a lot more butter into the mashed potatoes, but this has got, you know, like I said, this has got a half stick in there. There we go. And put that in. All right. See if we have any more questions. Oh, dropping like flies today. Oh, that's funny. That's okay. Let's see, how long have we been doing this? About a half an hour. We're only a half an hour in, and we're really close to having a good portion of it being finished. This isn't a long cook by any stretch of the imagination. Wipe my cutting board off some. There we go. Get that off. And that's what we're doing. But like I said, the cabbage, I don't want it to be, you know, an all-day thing. It just needs to be blanched up for a few minutes. And I'm gonna leave my back burner on back there for the Stargazer. There we go. Let me see. Short cook and some good eating, yes sir. That's the thing. That's one of the deals I'm down for today. Is a short cook and good eating, and this should be this is going to be really good. I'm going to be really into this once it's finished. Once she's done, she's going to be good. Let's see here. Need a big bowl. Yeah, a big bowl. Hopefully that's big enough. Let's see. I put the corned beef making video on the Mudbrooker members group Facebook page. Oh, okay. One of these days when I'm on Facebook, I'll check that out. But yeah, so this should be kind of just we got about a 2-minute stalemate here, and then we're gonna jump on to doing everything else. I don't want to do the steak until I'm ready to till I throw this into the oven. Till I throw this thing into the oven there. Let me move my, I don't need the cutting board anymore, so I might as well make the space. There we go. There we go. Maybe you'll score some members today too. There you go. That's always fun. All right. That is ready. That's ready for the straining. Straining and draining. I'll do that off camera because nobody cares about watching me drain cabbage and potatoes. Sure. And this is just going to be, like I said, this is just going to be a mash, a rough mash. Set that off. That right there for now. And we've got those cooking in there. That looks about like that. Blanched. And I'm just going to run that through the strainer. Just take a second. And we'll put this over here. Put that right there. There we go. Right on time. Timer off. Bring this over to here and drop that in. Drop those in there. There we go. Probably could have used a little more potato. Put your Canadian bacon in there with your potato skins. We're gonna do the rest of this butter, which is about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, about 6 more tablespoons of butter in there, just for good measure. It's recommended by the American Heart Association to have at least 2 sticks of butter in all your Irish cuisine. It's not me saying it, it's people that know a heck of a lot more about those things than I do. So, go ahead and start mashing this down. Mash that all together. And don't worry, I'm going to stir it a little bit as well. And we're going to add our onions, chives, and garlic mixture into that. Also has a little bit more butter in it. There we go. There's that. Steamy. Throw that in there. Throw those in. Set that off to the side. Do a little stirring. Camera doing it? Yeah, we're on camera. Camera's right. Sometimes I knock the camera and I don't always mean to. Move this lid while I'm thinking about it too. I don't need that sitting there. Give ourselves a little bit of room. Oh yeah. Well, I wish you could smell it. If you like cabbage, this would be right up your alley. Let's do a little more mashing in there. We got the potatoes up to the top. But it's going to be a rough. It doesn't need to be blended or put into a KitchenAid or mixed or any of that. It just needs to be smushed. the middle. Got those nice potato skins in there. That'll give it some flavor. That off to the side. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to toss over to, let me see, let me check these out real quick. White Mountain Girl, my future ex-wife. What's going on? Good to see you. There we go. That's in there. I'm settled in and now I can say hi to Pat Z. Oh, good. Good. And let's see what size pan I'm going to use for this. I think I'm going to go Old Faithful and use that one. I think the 8's going to be fine. I think the 8's going to be just fine. Let's see. Yeah. I'll go 10. I'll go 10 just to stay honest. I don't know. I'm sort of in the middle. I should have got a 9. I should have just done a 9 and been done with it. Okay. So we got that. We're going to butter this up over here, right along this way. Just going to butter that around. More butter. Like I said, this is butter heavy. Very, very butter heavy. And I really think, in all honesty, that a 9 would have been perfect for this, as opposed to a 10 or 8. But, you know, whatever. I'm sure in everyone's kitchen, we all have things that we misjudge occasionally. So there's that. Put that in while it's hot. Can we still see that roll off? Yeah. Yeah, that's probably about right. I think a 9 would have done it. But, you know, whatever. Turn our pan up in the back over here because we're going to get that steak going over back in that area. Because this is not going to take very long. And like I said, some people will put crackers on it, chips, things like that. They'll serve it right out of the bowl, which isn't bad either. I've had it all those ways. But what we are going to do, and then we're going to take about a cup of cheese, which this is just Monterey Jack cheese with a little bit of mozzarella in it. They're both white. To get that, I put the little bit of mozzarella in there to give it sort of a cheese pull effect. There we go. Right on top of that. Because who doesn't love cheesy potatoes? I know I do. So we'll set that. I got my oven at 355. Let me grab another hot mitt. Move that back just a smidge so I can throw this in my oven. All right. Move some of these things here that we don't need. Which is about everything. Because it's steak time. It is definitely time for the steak. And that doesn't fit, so we'll just have a rag. We'll just use a rag. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. And here we go. Got the steak right there. the steak pan going. And once again, we're gonna open some more butter. Open a little bit more butter. See you, Rusty. Rusty's probably had enough of cast iron today. A smidge more butter, sorry guys. That butter going. That up there. Let's see, timer, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. All right, so we've got that. Let's drop our steak on there. Drop that in. Now we've got the steak going. Yes, butter makes everything better. And I'm going to take that other pan out real quick. And we're just going to sit and watch a steak cook for a minute while I drink some more coffee. Like I haven't had enough caffeine for 3 people today. There we go. And I'll take that other pan out while I'm thinking about it, because we don't need that in there anymore. There we go. And we'll just let that cool off for a few minutes and try to remember that the pan to the other side is not so hot. Caffeine is life. Yeah, it is. Especially in my world. I was up this time, and the time change always screws me up, and it did today as well. I mean, I was out, I was running on, I changed some of the clocks, like my alarm from my phone, that went off this morning, but all the clocks in my room set a different, in my bedroom set a different time, and then I kind of forgot about it. I walked the dog and did some other things, and I had to go to the butcher shop, perusing for the week, and when I did that, I was going by the clock time in the car, which I changed about 20 minutes before I pulled in, before the live stream started, so there's that. I feel like I've taken cold medicine today because of the time change. So does bacon grease. I must have missed something there. Yeah, I've just never, and the thing of it is I'll end up going to bed at what would be like 10 o'clock instead of my normal time of about 11 to between 11 and 12. Let that get a good browning on it. Oh, nice crust. The Stargazer, to go back to what we were talking about last week, the Stargazer is actually becoming one of my favorite pans, which the first year I had it, I've said this before, I absolutely hated this UFO of a pan. I absolutely despised it. I mean, it just, I didn't like the way it cooked. I didn't like the way it looked. I thought it was way too over-engineered. And I couldn't get any kind of seasoning to stick to it. And once again, this is a 19, so that has a little bit to do with it, but you know, it's still before they resurfaced, as far as I know. And you know, I got this in 20, but it's dated 19, and so you know, it had that surfacing issue and all that, but whatever. Now I really like it. I like the fact that it pours nice. It's really good for me, because I eat a big steak. I think this was about 1.25 pound piece of slab of meat. For me, that's about the right size. That or like a couple pork chops. But I really like how it does my steaks. I do truly like that. We got about 5 minutes on that. Let's give that a flip and see how that crust is doing. So I'm sure is really good. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. It does crust the steak fairly, I mean, just about as nice as you're going to get in a pan. So if you get a good look at that there, that's crusted up nice. I'm actually going to throw the rest of that garlic and chive in there on top of it, because you can't have too much garlic. But we'll throw the garlic and the chive down into the pan. Let that sear up for a second. Get into those juices. And then I'll throw that on top of this side. Do they make does Hyundai make a Stargazer car? I don't know what Hyundai makes. I have no idea. Let that brown just a second. I don't want to sear it, but I'd like it to be browned up a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, just about like that. Smear that on there. Some of that butter on there. Help that cook. I'll do the edges too here in a second. Once we get about another couple of minutes into it. I got to keep an eye on the Colcannon in the oven. If I was super cool, I'd break out one of my presses right now. Let's see how that's looking. Oh yeah, that's going good. I'm actually going to move that up to the top rack for the last little bit, because I'm going to throw the broiler on there and give that a little browning, because this is looking really, really good. And right before it's done, we're going to broil that. I'm really just more waiting on the steak at this point. Let's see here. Move this. This is sort of cooled down, but I'm glad I didn't do the 8. I would, like I said, I think I should have done a 9, but is what it is. Is what it is. And we get a temperature on this. Temperature gauge. Take this thing's temperature. And I'm at 90 degrees. There we go. Oh no. 109. So once we hit that we'll hit the other 5 minutes. You know, some people say temperature, some people say time. I say both. I try to do both. So that's what I'm going to do today, because I'm the one that has to eat it. And if you've seen the channel before, which most everybody has today, then they know that I'm not going to let that rest. I'm just going to eat it for the most part. I'm going to clear some of these things out of the way so I can actually put this up. Move some of this stuff out of the way. Some of the unnecessary. We'll leave that there. That, move that, leave that. Some of the unnecessary. Let me see. Let me check comments here for a second. I pulled up Stargazer, so let me see. Scotty, seriously, I did when they were on Lee's live stream. Yeah, that was a good stream this morning. That was fun. I like getting up on Sunday mornings and checking out Smoking Bears at 9 o'clock. That's always nice. Nice family way to start the day. Got the kids on there. Got them doing some things. No, maybe. I mean, Stargazer, let me see what that looks like on the side. Keep that going. Move this up on its edge for a minute. And then broil. Turn the bake off and the broil on. And I'll throw that to low because I got a feeling I'm going to forget about it while I'm messing with this steak. I like to sear these edges just for a few seconds. It doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be any major part of the cook, because I'm sure that once I get to the other side there, we're going to be about where we want to be. Put that butter on there. If I was really cool, I'd make some gravy, but I'm not. And I'm starving too. I'm really hungry. So that's another thing. There we go. That just a second. Put that butter up there. Take this boy's temperature. Take that temperature again. (122). I did knock a lot of the sear off that one side, so we'll do the presentation on this side. Don't tell anybody. Let's see, how's the broiler looking? Let's do high for just a second. Put some of those juices on there. Boy, my stove is a mess. Just a mess. But let's throw some of that on there. And you got the easy pour. Put the easy pour there. There we go. Set that off to the side. Over here on the cooler burner. There's no reason to make any more mess than I need to. So we got our steak going. Yeah, the crust came out. I love the Stargazer. I love how that comes off of my Stargazer. I usually use, a lot of times I would use my my favorite best to cook in, the one that's in the oven, or was in the oven. I like that for steaks, or my number 8. But let me see where we're at with this. Oh yeah, that's coming along. Got the high broil on, and then we're just gonna let that sit for a second. I'm gonna grab a drink, check out the comments real quick, and just give that I'm gonna give the Colcannon just another minute. And we don't need to let it rest so much, but it's one of those things that you might want to take out. You're gonna want to not leave that in there for very long because it's so watery, and then a pan that's not that well seasoned or has a lodge seasoning more than anything, once you do that, it's going to peel that seasoning off if you're not careful. So you don't want to do that. That's something you don't want to do. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, I should have added cast iron to it. Yeah, I don't know if that makes a big difference or not, but you'd think, I don't know. Stargazer, unless you're in the, I guess in the cast iron community, you really don't, you know, you're probably going to get lunar eclipse and all kinds of other things. There we go, perfect. Timed that out just right. Off. Clear everything. And get our mitt. And pull this out. That is exactly what I wanted. Bring that over and you guys can check this out. That came out really, really nice. Just the right amount of crust for that. Like I said, it's got a lot of butter in there. It didn't overdo the cheese. I just threw it in under the broiler for about and that's where we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some kind of a implemented destruction, and I'm going to plate that up, and we're going to be ready to go. I'm ready to try that out. Plus we're giving the steak a few minutes. Actually, that's a lot longer than I normally give my steaks to rest. For those that watch the channel, you know that I'm not much of a steak rester, to my demise. But then we'll give it a taste test and see how we did. Yeah, I think it's good. It smells so good. Cabbage and potatoes just has that unique smell that just smells so good. Let's see here. We could leave it sit a little longer to set up, but why do things the right way? Why do things the right way? Put it right there in that juice. And that butter, basically butter juice. Everything out of there. Let's set that off to the, set that over here. Bring you back over this way some. And there you got it. Colcannon, a nice steak. It looks a lot darker in the picture. The steak looks a lot darker, but it's got a nice crust. And that garlic did well. It's a little, like I said, it's a little darker, but it's not burnt. All right. Take my gum out and give this a go. Maybe even bring it up. Maybe even take this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Because this camera is not the greatest in presentation. Put a steak, there we go. But there we go. The Colcannon came out nice. Like I said, you can do it right out of the pot, or like I did, you could throw a little bit of cheese on there. But that came out really good. Let's check out the inside of the steak. Oh, there's the beaks. She is ready. She's been over here playing with her puzzle. She got a puzzle the other day. Got a puzzle, and she's been picking at her food. She's been doing her food puzzle to keep her entertained. My dog's the only dog I know that has puzzles. Oh yeah, let's see here. So let's give this a cut through and see how that looks in the middle. The old cross section with my serrated knives. And I'm doing it like around the camera too, so that doesn't help. But I don't know, can you see that? That is fantastic right there. Do that. Cut off a little piece with this little crust on there and the fat. Dip it in the juice. Look at that. That came out really nice. Really nice. Yeah, right up there. Oh yeah. Really nice. I don't want to know what I was thinking not making soda bread today, other than the fact that I was running an hour behind. Nice cheesy pull. Give this a try. Oh yeah. That is so good. That's exactly what we're looking for with Colcannon. It's a good buttery flavor with just a little bit of cheese. Oh, you can see the cheese pull in there. Just a little cheese in there. Try and get that off. Oh man, the cheese keeps going. That's just about as perfect as it gets. To me, you may like yours a little different. You may like it a little less chunky. But to me, that's just fantastic. And like I said, you can use ham, you can use bacon. Bacon's would be my second option, but you don't have to use bacon. You can use ham. You can use Canadian bacon. Whatever kind of pork you have laying around will work. But I do suggest if you use bacon, get a nice peppered bacon. That would go a little bit better. Try that out again. And the cabbage is done just perfectly. It's got a little bit of a snap to it still. You don't want to overdo that if you can help it. You don't want to overdo your cabbage and make it really, because you want that, at least me, I really like that little snap of cabbage in there. And we'll let Beegs get a little bit. It's got some garlic on there, so I don't know how she's going to do with all the garlic, and she's had a lot of snacks today. So let me move that around. Come here, Beagle. Come here. Come here. You want some? Let me spin. Let me spin. There you go. That's good enough. There you go. See it? All right. Hey, William Hurt, what's up, buddy? We're just making some Colcannon and steak. So that's what we did. The Colcannon came out. I'm going to do another shot of the Colcannon before I let everybody go and eat. But the Colcannon came out. If you like doing it with cheese, if you like doing your Colcannon with cheese, that came out. That's exactly where I wanted it. I couldn't ask for the crust to be any better. It almost looks like pizza cheese. Just came out amazing. All right. But anyway, make sure you guys watch. I think tonight at 8 o'clock, Cast Iron Chaos is putting together his corned beef. I don't know what else he's doing with that. If he's making anything else, that's kind of a big to-do as it is. So, but yeah, it's so check him out. And Mudbrooker on Tuesdays he's at 7:30 my time, Eastern time, so probably 6:30 Central, and all that. But anyway, I'm gonna go and eat and not keep anybody else on their held up on their Sundays. But I'm gonna get out of here, and we will see you guys in the comment section. See ya.